Say what you will about Dragon Ball, but one thing I'll forever give my childhood series praise for is its pretty consistently superb catalog of games the license has for itself. In a gaming market where it really feels like most anime games end up all being under the same genre and slop style, Dragon Ball stands on its own head and shoulders. One of the big reasons why I feel so strongly about this is the willingness to try completely new and different genres most others wouldn't even step foot in. While other brands try to stick to the shallow end and develop either simplistic or, God forbid, an arena fighter, Dragon Ball has dipped its toes into some genres such as RPGs, PvP gachas, asymmetrical horror, what the fuck, Candy Crush, and even making a fighting game so good, it not only changed the expectations of a whole community, but also became part of the framework to one of the better fighting games made in the modern era. While yes, I will forever admit that I am one of the biggest Dragon Ball glazers out on the market, I'm pouring honey on you, goat. Trust me, it deserves the spotlight this time. This leads us into Dragon Ball's newest and most unique project to date, Dragon Ball Gekishin Squadra. Now, listen, I know what's going to be said next, so let's address this real quick so I don't explode like our green, perfect being here. I'm gonna blow! Paul Roger, you said this game was unique, but isn't this game just Pokemon Unite? To that, I just... Shut up! Shut up! Look, maybe in some ways you might be right. Hell, you might even just flat out be right. But you aren't, okay? They play completely different, and I really like this game, dude. Just deal with it, alright? Are we good? Good. Gekishin Squadra is a multiplayer online battle arena, or as we gamers call, a MOBA. If you've had basically any conversation with me in private or on stream, you find out that this is easily one of my favorite gaming genres out there. But it's also a genre that hasn't received too many new games to add to its catalog. I mean, it got Deadlock, but that's a topic for another day. While the main focus of the game is to appease to the insatiable hunger of the Dragon Ball fandom, it also adds unique gameplay elements to really spice up your life and give a very refreshing take on the MOBA genre as a whole. Dragon Ball Gekishin. Okay, I'm done doing that, I promise. It's set in a 4v4 battleground of the gods. No, seriously. Before getting into a game, you first go into a role queue, in which roles are split up into 3 very simple assortments. Damage, the main carries of the game and the only role that requires 2 players. This will feature the characters that will be the most essential in the winning team fights, securing objectives, and defeating creeps. Tank, wow, I really wonder what the fuck this role's gonna do. The characters who can not only take a punch, but also absolutely give one back. If you literally played any team selection game at all, you already know what a tank is. Technical. This category is what I would deem to be the more experimental groups and the more specialized characters. It's not that these characters can't deal any damage or tank anything. They're the ones with the more unorthodox kit in the roster. Here you'll find your trap setters, healers, backdoor menaces, summoners, basically anything besides a beat stick and a actual brick wall. Technical is by far my favorite category to play out of the 3, as I find the characters in here to be a lot more fun with their more unique set of abilities and playstyles. Alright, so after selecting your role and character, we can finally start to let loose. The map is split into 2 lanes. Not only that, those with a keen eye and lots of knowledge on the MOBA genre may realize that the jungle is completely gone. Since the game is split into 4v4, I do think it makes perfect sense why it's completely gone. There is a centerpiece to the map, but that's not going to play a factor until later on in the match. When heading to your designated lane or lane of choice, you'll find that the minions or creeps are scattered all around the path and in the center of the lanes. Another huge difference to this game is it doesn't feature the actual traditional minion wave that most other MOBAs typically try to stick to. Rather, the creeps are actually used more as objectives and stuff to fight the enemy for. You're actually going to find that this tends to be a pretty big trend within the gameplay loop, and farming is going to be very keen to the actual effectiveness of your character and team, so just keep them in mind for a little while, alright? When laning, the main goal is to defeat the enemy's god of destruction. The gods are used more as traditional towers in this game, you know, in line with stuff such as League, Dota, Deadlock, all these other games. Something I will admit that feels a little bit odd to the power scaling of Dragon Ball is you see a character as strong and as prominent as the god of destruction Beerus being used more as a mere pawn in this game. Now, keen viewer, I know what you may be asking. Paul Roger, how are you supposed to push up these lanes? You don't have a minion wave. And I'm really glad you asked. See, there's a very simple solution to this. A literal baby and his toy hammer. Xenos will periodically show up and attack the gods of destruction. They're gonna act like your actual minion wave here, disabling the towers by absolutely slamming them with Mr. Squeaky. When these towers are disabled, you can hit them with a Gekishin burst. Bursts can only be used in the tower range, but when landed will deal a set amount of damage according to which move you use and what stage of the game you're in. Not only that, but bosses will also spawn around the map, each lane having a designated spawn, top lane being specifically for Android 16 and the bottom lane being specifically for Nappa. When the boss is defeated, they'll actually deal damage to the enemy gods of destruction and give your team buffs, so it's pretty important to get them. When a god of destruction is defeated, their corresponding part of the lane gets exposed to whatever team defeats them. Not only that, but it also starts unlocking the center portions of the map, specifically the center battlefield where more of the mid-game bosses will spawn in. The mid-game bosses do similar things to the actual lane bosses, damaging gods of destruction, giving you buffs and all that. The only difference between them is they actually attack both lanes, so they're pretty important to pick up as well. To beat the other team, the main thing you must do is you have to defeat every single god of destruction they have. No god of destruction can be left unfinished. Every single molecule gone. When all the gods of destruction have been destroyed, I don't know what else to say, you can enter the enemy team's base, break this shiny little glass, and obtain a Dragon Ball. And just like that, boom, game over. Sounds very simple, right? That's because it is. And not only that, it leads into by far my favorite aspect about this game. Did it seem like I explained the gameplay loop pretty fast? Well, good, because that's my intention. It's supposed to show off how fast this game actually goes. This game, compared to literally any other MOBA under the sun, is so quick. In the era we live in, where kids can barely watch a TikTok without a funny man running in a subway, MOBAs haven't really changed in how long their games really go on for. But in Gekishin, the matches literally last minutes. To keep up with the fast-paced nature of how small these games are, this also means that the gameplay ends up being insanely energetic. Look, I'm assuming a lot of you guys are Dragon Ball people if you've clicked on this video, and I'm going to assume most people in the modern mobile gaming market probably have heard of Dragon Ball Z Dokkan Battle. You know how that game has a 2x mode to speed up all the animations and stuff? Well, take that feeling and apply that to the gameplay, because that's exactly how it feels. You'll see characters just zip and fly across the screen with all their movement abilities and just the base movement of the game in general. Abilities having such high scaling that even the most normal of abilities can look like ultimates in some other games.
Is that an or is that a base move?
That's a base move that you can charge up.
That's insane.
And health bars disintegrating just as fast as a high school relationship. Remember that deadlock video I was showing, you know, the one with Shroud? That match that he recorded for that was roughly about 30 minutes. You wanna know how many games of Gekishin I played in 30 minutes? 3. And yes, this does include loading screens, readying up, locking in characters, literally all the other miscellaneous animations that could stall for time, and it still fit 3 matches. That's just, it's fantastic.
Say that again?
You wanna know what else is fantastic? These goddamn visuals.
Yes, it is.
Dragon Ball as a product has seen astronomical highs and detrimental lows when it comes to the animation of their products. The games, however, rarely suffer from this issue, and Gekishin is by far no exception. I know that this phrase I'll say next is overused, and I'm sorry, but this is a goddamn mobile game, dude. Off-topic discussion, but can we talk about the absolute glow-up mobile games have had over the years? I mean, come on, mobile games used to look like this, and now I can genuinely tell you they have some of the most beautiful animations out there. Hell, you can even look at the quality of some of the trailers of this game, and you can tell that the animation team have definitely paid their dues. With that said, however, the animation does play a part in potentially my least favorite aspect of the game. Due to the overall fast-paced nature in tandem with the visual style, this game can get very overwhelming visually.
Jesus, he's just throwing on the screen. I can't even see, bro.
This game just has so much, and sorry for my brash language here. It's on the screen. The best way I can describe it is this game is kind of like your one doom scrolling friend I'm assuming most of you have, but instead of it being Reels or TikToks, it's in-game notifications and voice lines. There is always something happening every 6 microseconds, and I can assure you, this game will be basically screaming at you, telling you that something is going on the map. The other pretty huge issue I have with this game, and to be fair, this might be more on my personal end, but I have a lot of connection issues with this game.
Like $6-7.
There are games where I will literally go through the entire loading screen process, selecting characters and all these other aspects, load in, start laning, and boom!
Alright, bro.
Suddenly the match is completely over because someone disconnected. And the thing is, like, because of how fast it is to get in the game, like, literally this 3-minute game is going to mean nothing because it's going to take me less of the time to connect to another match. This does not apply to if you want to play with friends. Playing with friends and trying to get into games with the people who are interested in playing this game with me has been one of the biggest hassles I've had for a modern game. And better yet, the game has active crossplay. It's one of the biggest things they really advertise with this game. And trust me, I have friends that want to play this game. I have friends that enjoy this game.
If y'all win 50 gifted, we gotta win!
And it is so fun to play with these guys when it finally starts working. But the game actively doesn't let me.
I guess we're not playing fucking Gekishin Squadra.
But even with all my aggression in this part of the video, and moreover my disliking to some of these issues, I do feel that this game has one thing going for it that I do think triumphs over any of the previously stated issues I have. The game's just some dumb fun, man, and I absolutely love it.
Oh, God, got me! Let's get him! Let's go!
If I wanted to be like some of the other more popular influencers out there, I'd probably try and start nitpicking at all the stuff that they would probably say. Like, oh, the game doesn't have any competitive or ranked modes, and the balancing in the game is just all over the place. I mean, it is. There are some characters that feel like a Prime Z Broly, and there's some other characters that feel like, I don't know, Mercenary Tao. I feel like so many games come out and they just get taken so seriously by people online. This game's just so casual, and it's just it's so refreshing, man. Yes, the game has connectivity problems. Yes, the game has some balancing problems. And yes, it might not be the most competitively natured game out there, but I've been having so much fun with this game. For the MOBA genre, this game has some of the most fun interactions I've had in literal years. Hell, the game is so fun, it got me back into streaming. Me. I am literally inconsistency personified, and honestly, I shouldn't even be surprised it's like this. Dragon Ball games over the years have always had this motto and design philosophy, trading traditional gameplay development paths to create just a memorable, albeit crazy time. And you want to know what? I'm game. If there is any takeaway from this video, Gekishin Squadra is just a breath of fresh air. And this game has my full and utter support. Please, I want this game to strive. This game deserves to have more popularity. And trust me, I really don't want to come back to this game in the future and have like a future Trunks moment realizing that this game that I had so much support for is completely dead. I really don't want that happening to me. Anyways, go play Gekishin. It's free and it's a good time. I don't know. Have a good day, I guess.